Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you had a great month of March because I had fun in March. I had real good fun. And April is starting out to be a great month. I mean, after a string of really cloudy days, today the sun is shining and I'm having a good hair day. So I decided let's record a video. Okay. So today, we're going to go one step further. We're going to go to 5 card spreads, right? We've been doing 3 card spreads for the past some time now, and which is great. 3 card spreads are awesome. I mean, to be honest, for me, the journey has been a little backward. My very first spread was big, massive 18 card spread, and then I used to be like, how can you just read with 3 cards? But then, over the time, as I have sort of realized that sometimes a lot can be gained with just a 3 card spread. So anyway, now today let's look into something which has started to become one of my favorite spreads of late, and it's the cross spread. So it's a 5 card spread, and if you guys have seen the Celtic cross, and who hasn't, it's the cross part of the spread. Those are the 5 cards. We're not going to do the significator and what cross is. No, we're just going to do the cross. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of spread. There's many ways you can look at that spread. So instead of you looking at my beautiful face and just listening to me talk, I'm gonna go set up the whole thing with my new stand and everything, and why don't we just like do a video, because why not? Okay, so see you in a bit. So I've been sort of setting up the the stand and my phone and trying to see how to get the best sort of view for my for my video. And the deck that I'm going to use today, it's called the Dreaming Way Tarot, and it's beautiful. It's a lot like the Rider Waite. So those of you who are studying the Rider Waite need not worry that, oh, am I going to understand this? You totally are. If you are familiar with the card story technique, you totally will understand any deck that you pick up, which is especially the kind of decks which have a lot of stuff going on in the pictures. And of course, if you have not seen my learn this deck series of videos that I did, it was about this deck. And we sort of went into depth with each of the cards and sort of figured out, using the card story technique, we figured out the meanings of the cards. So if you guys want, you can totally check that out. I will be sure to put the links in the the white dot thing that comes up on one of the sides of the videos. Anyway, and the questions, right, were sent to me by one of you guys, and there you are. These are the 2 questions that I will be kind of looking at with the cross spread that I'm planning to do today. Okay, let me just sort of get into the cross spread first of all. Yeah. Today I'm not going to make the fan. I'm just going to lay the spread out because I really have no idea how this will sort of happen on screen here in the video. So just bear with me. Yeah. Can you see this? Oh man, okay. Do I need to move this up a little? All right. So I will hold the camera up a little later so we can see all the cards and everything. Maybe now it's a little better. Okay, let's see. Let's play with this for a little. Okay, this cross spread is pretty straightforward. All right, it's an extension of your past, present, future spread. Oh, sorry about that. My finger. So it's an extension of the past, present, and the future spread. So this is your past, present, future, right? And the card on top over there, this one, This is what is on your mind the whole time. And the card below it is what is being sort of pushed away or suppressed or ignored or not looked at, right? This is the card below. This is the way I like this spread. This is perfect because it's an extension of the 3 card spread that we've been practicing with. And then it adds a little more flavor or a little more value, so to speak. Let me pick this up. Wow, okay. So this is what's going on in your mind the whole time all this is unfolding. And this is what's going on, what's not being looked at or what's being ignored, right? The whole time. So while this story happens, while this whole story unfolds, this connects with each of these cards, and so does this. Got it? So it's going to add value to all of this. This is your basic spread. All right? So we're going to look at the very first question from this list. What does X need to know about going on a trip with her friends and being around this another woman? Why? So, it's pretty straightforward, the story, right? We have X and her friends, and they also are friends with woman Y, and well, they're all going on a trip. So, what does X need to know about this person? And especially within the context or the framework or whatever you want to call it during this trip, what does X need to know about this woman? Okay, so how will you read this spread? This is your past, present, future basic spread. Hang on one second. Oh, it's so hard to do this with the camera right in the middle. Okay, let me see if I can get this better angle. Okay, so this is your past, present, future. So, and then the bottom card is what needs to be ignored or what needs to be, or what is being ignored or what needs to be ignored. You can reinterpret your spread in various ways in that way. But in specifically within the, sorry about the shaking, specifically within the context of the question that you're asking, right? You're all going to go on a vacation. So what do you need? What does your client, right, X, need to know about this lady Y within the context of this vacation, right? So this is before the vacation, during the vacation, after the vacation, past, present, future, and what she needs to bear in mind before, during, and after, and what she maybe needs to ignore or what is being ignored before, during, and after. So that's how it will, that's how it will unfold. Before the vacation, you have the Chariot card, right? So you all are all going on a trip, right? So right before the vacation, just be chill. Just be ready to go on this trip. Like this Chariot, it will be a breeze, right? The whole trip looks to be a breeze anyhow. So don't worry, everything looks fine. Be ready. The Chariot is also ready and prepared for any eventuality. So be ready, be prepared, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, be ready to take it head on like this guy, right? And as you go into this vacation, you will have 7 of Wands. So there'll be a whole lot of stuff going on, right? There, see these wands coming at her. Some of them I have also got flowers here. So there'll be a mix of good and bad happening during the vacation. I mean, let's be frank here. There's a bunch of ladies going on a vacation. Whether woman Y was with them or not, it'll be crazy town anyways, right? So it's going to be a little crazy. It's going to be a bit of overwhelming. There are going to be some good parts. There are going to be some crazy parts. And you're going to be having to do a lot of, management of emotions and feelings. So during your vacation, I don't know whether you'll have actually got some time to sit and think about the other, the woman Y, because you'll be spending way too many things going on during this vacation. For you to be sitting and thinking of just one person. So there's going to be probably a whole lot of drama with the 7 and the 7 again. Look at that. There's probably going to be a whole lot of interesting drama coming along. So you better be really, really prepared Yeah. And what's there? Up going forward, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So something good comes out of it, the way I see it. This is what you need to know after the vacation. Something good comes out of it. And the Queen of Pentacles does, she has that whole air of sort of settling down and motherhood. And so ultimately, through all of this, it might so happen that you might befriend that Lady Y, and you guys will also become good friends, which is a good thing, right? So what do you need to bear in mind where all this is going on? Judgment. Now, think about this. The word judgment can mean a whole lot of things, yeah, but that's not what this card is all about. This card is all about the ending of huge karmic cycles. That's the angel blowing his horn, letting you know, guys, come on, this cycle is over. Time to let go, time to move on. If you see the whole journey of the major arcana, this one is card number 20, which means that from the Fool to the Judgment card, the Fool has come a very long way. The next one is card number 21, which is the World card, where the whole journey of the major arcana kind of sort of ends. So this is the penultimate card, as they say it, which means that this right before the end, this is where it's kind of, in the end of the movie, there's a whole climax where, the villain and the hero have their last fight or whatever, that sort of thing. So bear that in mind that, this is going to be a big change for you. All of this, this whole trip, and then the drama in the trip, and whatever happens at the end of it, the friendship, the companionship, the whole nurturing relationship that happens. Don't be so quick to judge if you're going to just go by the word there. But at the same time, this is going to signal or herald or bring in a whole change in attitude every step of the way. And what is below is the Lover's card. Wow. So what is being ignored, or what needs to be ignored? How would you interpret this card within the light of this whole story that we've unfolded so far? If, let's say, we see, okay, this is what needs to be ignored, right? So ignore the fact that this, ignore the fact that this lady might have a whole lot of romantic baggage or a whole lot of romantic drama. That's what maybe the drama is all about. Yeah, you can ignore that romantic drama that she's going to be talking about all the time. Okay? Or what needs to be pushed away, or what is being pushed away is, the romantic drama. When I'm looking at this, for some reason, this card only for now is kind of invoking the romantic drama. It's like the romance, love triangle feeling. That's what I'm getting when I see this. So probably, very likely, the drama that happens is also about her romance. Yeah, and why her romance? Because this is the question we asked. Okay, remember that. The romance is about her because we have asked this question. The client wants to know, especially with regards to this woman, how the whole vacation will be like. And maybe there's a whole lot of romantic drama about that lady that happens or will come to the surface as you guys, as all you ladies sit down, have your drink or whatever. Fine, that might happen. But you know what? Don't be so quick to judge. This is a new sort of, it's all heralding a change, a sort of a different viewpoint. And ultimately, you know what? There's your Queen of Pentacles. There's your mother energy. There's your nurturing that will happen. You guys will actually bond. You guys might have, maybe her romantic drama and your romantic drama might sort of, fuel each other's, what kind of discussions. So you might just have a very good, end up, being really good friends at the end of the whole thing. I see this card, and that's what I feel. You guys will have a very nice bond at the end of it. So that's probably the big change that's been heralded up there. Your whole perception is going to change, and everything will be just fine. So this trip might just be very intense, but very interesting after all. So, the question that we are looking at here is, what is holding me back from being happy in life? Okay. So, this spread, past, present, future, right? These cards will show us how things are going. Okay. What's really going on in within the context of this question. So, what was holding me back from being happy before in the past? What's holding me back now, and what might hold me back in the future, right? This is how you take the context within this applies to all the cards. So what's going on in my head? Why? What's wrong, like in my mind, really? What's not necessarily, what is going on here in the head, which is maybe blocking or preventing me from being happy? And here in this particular question, this becomes really core also. What's being suppressed or ignored or not looked at, hmm, in the pursuit of happiness, really? So let's have a look. Sorry. The past lovers, right? So, but look at this picture. This picture tells a story. Normally, lovers is about relationships, and you're like, oh, so relationships are, what's holding me back from being happy? Is that it? Is that how you would interpret it? But no, look at this picture. You see this girl, she's an angel, and she's bringing these two together, right? This is how the artist has interpreted the lovers card in this particular deck. The angel brings these lovers, these two people together. She, or maybe, she also likes the guy, or maybe she likes the girl, but then, she's like, okay, they like each other, so let me just bring them back. And she becomes an angel like that. Whatever version of the story you want to go with. In the past, it essentially means that the choices that you made, which were selfless, right? Because her choice in that, whatever way you look at it, her choice is selfless. And I'm looking at her, right? If you say that, okay, this is me, because this is a question you're asking for yourself, right? Or your client. If you say this is me or this is my client was being extremely selfless. So I was being very, very selfless here, and I walked away and let these two people be together, and that prevented me from being happy in the past. Okay. Or let's say you identify with either this guy or this girl, and you're like, okay, you know what, I got into a relationship with the help of maybe a friend, yeah, and but getting into that relationship actually prevented me from being happy. That can happen. Okay, give it a thought. Many times we get into relationships because we don't want to be in a relation. We get into a relationship with other people because we don't want to be in a relationship with our own self. And yes, that can prevent you from being happy. Okay, so there's various ways you can interpret this card. So I'm just going to show you those different ways within the context of this question. And this is what happened in the past, and this way it prevented me from being happy. Now let's turn to the present. Here we have the devil card. Ooh. So whatever, now if you see the progression of this relationship, right, they've now gone into the devil card. See now, I think now the last interpretation sort of starts to make more sense if you see from the story angle, but we'll see from various angles. If let's say you say, in the past you sort of became very selfless and gave up your feelings for some other, these two people, then yes, seeing them or watching them in that relationship together makes me jealous, and that makes me unhappy. Okay, then if you go with that interpretation that you got into a relationship with someone and just that made you unhappy because you didn't get into a relationship, maybe you got into a relationship that ultimately became something that chained you up, that locked up your potential on some many levels, or which became like a very, how do you say it, a very restrictive sort of relationship, right? That can happen. So now that's made you unhappy. Or because you got into a relationship with someone, since you didn't want to have a relationship with yourself, now today you are locked in this relationship and not really looking at the big picture, and more you are getting distant from your own self, and that whole thing is making you unhappy. So going forward, what is preventing you from being happy? King of Wands, right? The King of Wands. This is my thing with the King of Wands. He see this salamander on his dress. Let me get closer. Yeah, he's the kind of person who bounces back. He's the kind of person who does not allow the ups and downs of life to really bring him down. He's cheerful, he's upright, he's righteous, he's passionate, all of these qualities you have in the King of Wands. So going forward, being that way, right, is probably preventing you from being happy. See now how all these are upright cards. Supposedly 1 and 2 are also good cards. Yeah. On some levels, the devil can also be good depending on the context and the question. But then you see how sometimes these happy cards are also saying, look, sometimes, because see, we are seeing this whole relationship angle here or sacrifice angle here. And so if you see that sacrifice angle here being all self-righteous and bouncing back and whatnot, it's still preventing you from being happy. Yeah. Or getting into a relationship, getting locked and chained into a relationship, or not getting into a relationship with yourself. And maybe this happiness that you're portraying, maybe this passion that you're portraying could be a put on, could be a sham, could be false, could be just, you feel that. And so this is preventing you from being happy. Okay. This is the past, present, future story about the question, right? In that sense, what is preventing you from being happy in the past, in the present, and in the future? But now let's look at the card on top. What's going on in the mind of the person? Why is he doing all these things? What's the story there? Look, we have the 9 of Swords. And this is the card of anxiety. This is the card of worry and sleepless nights. This is the card of the endless sort of torture that someone can look, she's even having a nightmare. So many conflicting thoughts, worries. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be happily ever after? Because, relationship being the context here, that's why, right? All of these things, even sometimes worrying about, am I going to be happy, can sometimes prevent you from being happy. Don't you think? That's something to think about. Give it a shot. What is being ignored and suppressed? This might be the key here. Justice, balance. Yeah. See now, let's connect the dots. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a great spread. Sorry about the shaking, but the stand thing is not helping. So I'm holding the stand in my hand and I'm showing you this. Now let's connect the dots. Right? This is the anxiety and worry and that sort of thing card. Yeah. Let's say we go with the selfless sacrifice interpretation. The anxiety and the worry about that selfless sacrifice. The fact that, yes, maybe I took the right decision, but, it still hurt me anyways. That is preventing you from being happy. In the present also, watching them, the jealousy part, right? The fact that I'm being jealous here, or rather, if this is you, see the 3 here, the 3 here. So let's say you are here and, this person is now this person and you're being jealous here. Yeah, these guys are in a relationship. I'm jealous. I have to watch them be in a relationship. I was the one who brought them together and I'm now feeling super jealous because, hey, maybe I like the guy or maybe I like the girl, and look, I'm jealous. That jealousy eats away at you because, deep down inside, maybe you're a good person. Not maybe, you are a good person. And feeling, although you feel jealous, you're not that nasty kind of a person. So you feel guilty maybe for feeling jealous. And see this? This is you being judgmental on yourself on some level. That's you passing some kind of a, this is being suppressed. Your whole, the balance maybe. And you deciding that, oh, being jealous is a bad thing. Hey, look, sometimes it's okay to feel what you feel, and then you can let it go as you acknowledge it, right? And this balance or this understanding is being suppressed here. And then here, you're being all cheerful and positive and like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'm just gonna go, my life is gonna go on, I'm gonna be happy about it, and I'm gonna live cheerfully and all of that. But really, you're not deep down inside happy, because this has followed you here. Worry, worry, worry constantly. Am I putting on a good show? How does it look like? What does it look like? You're suppressing that. Sometimes you need to, like I said, sometimes you need to healthily express what you feel. And if you're not doing that, man, of course you won't be happy. Happiness is a broad sort of emotion. Yeah. Now let's say that was one interpretation. Let's go with the other one. Let's see here. Either you got into a relationship with someone because you didn't want to get into a relationship with yourself. Yeah. Let's go with that. That prevented, and we see deep down inside, this. Deep down inside, you are not ready to face that aspect of yourself. And that's preventing you from being happy. You know this. Yeah. Now you find yourself locked and chained in a relationship with the other person, and you're like, well, I'm in a relationship, it's all right. But deep down inside, in your head, you're still running away from yourself. You know this. That's what's making you unhappy. And here you are trying to put on a brave front and say, you know what, everything is okay. Hey, I'm fine. Everything is okay. It's not. See how the cards connect and how that whole story sort of takes shape there. With even, with the Lovers card, we got the whole, two different pathways that this reading could go in terms of interpretation. But with each, within that context, even with the multiple characters on each card, that this is what is going on. So, inspired by all these two spreads that I just did, I suddenly said, okay, here's a common question that I often get, when I'm doing readings for people. For example, people are, going for job interviews, and they're like, what do I need to know? What do I need to know about this interview? What do I need to know so I can do great or better, or, whatever in this interview? So, this is a very common question, and this cross spread is really, really beautiful for looking at that kind of question. I don't know if this angle makes sense. No, it looks weird, right? So I'm just gonna go with this. Okay, holding the stand in the hand. I'm sorry, I can't help myself sometimes with the funny rhyming things. So this is all about the job interview, past, present, future, what's in the head and what's being suppressed, right? But now let's bring it within the context of the question. This is about the job interview. The ultimate aim, obviously, of the job interview is that your client wants to get the job. Yeah, he's not going there so he can, waste his time or waste their time. The ultimate aim is to get the job. So what does he need to know before the interview? That will be the past one. The present one will show what he needs to know during the interview and what he needs to know after the interview. What he needs to bear in mind during all these points, before, during, and after the interview, and what he needs to maybe push aside or suppress, or, perhaps ignore, or, maybe look at a later date, perhaps, while he is going through that interview. See how the spread positions, you can tweak them a little to suit your question also sometimes, so it will give more value. The reading will give you more value. So for the purpose of the interview, what is the first thing he needs to know? 10 of Swords reversed, right? The pain of the past, he needs not to carry that into the future. So how do we, translate that into the context of our sort of question, right? The pain from the past. So could it be pain from past job experiences, right? Sometimes we have nasty job experiences, sometimes we have negative job experiences, or sometimes our job experiences from some jobs, are not so good. And we carry that with us like a chip on our shoulder. And perhaps, he's got all these chips, see? And he needs to let go of all these chips. He needs to go there fresh and fine and without all the chips on his shoulders, without all the prejudices of the past, is how he needs to be there. So he needs to get rid of, this is what he needs to do before the interview, is drop all these swords, get rid of all that negativity, fear, even, or even the mental chatter that comes. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, I don't know, you'll be able to win this, do this. All this, he needs to get rid of that. He needs to really become like a clean slate. He needs to become the nicer, good version of himself in that certain way, where he doesn't carry all this negativity with him. So this is the preparation he needs to do prior to the interview. During the interview, 3 of Cups. See? Wow, how interesting. Yeah? He needs to go there. He needs to be normal with them. Not over friendly though. Yeah, if you see these two guys, they're looking weirdly at him. He needs to really watch out. And see, this is a guidance spread. So bear that in mind also, right? This is not a prediction spread. This is a guidance spread also, mostly. So he needs to go there. He needs to get along well with the people who are going to interview him. He needs to, be friendly, but not too friendly. He needs to basically, on a certain level, befriend these people who will interview him so that they will think of him in a positive way. He needs to just lighten up, maybe, if you connect the story. This guy dropping all the things in his past, he comes in and he's now relaxed and he's sitting with them. He needs to not get so tensed up about the interview. He needs to see this as, like a get together of friends or something. And he needs to approach that interview in this way, because this is what he needs to know about during the interview. And after the interview, the Emperor card. See, after the interview, he has to be patient. The Emperor is very, very patient. Look at him sitting there thinking, right? It might take them a while to get back to him about it, but he shouldn't lose his patience. The person who waits sometimes and the person who keeps being polite and nice and all of that throughout will win. And this is how he needs to remain. He needs to remain patient and he needs to remain, aware and alert at all times. As time goes by, he will hear from them. It will probably be a positive end to the story. Now, what he needs to bear in mind here is your 10 of Pentacles. But this card in this deck is a little bit different. See, there are all these 10 of Pentacles, but we see a bunch of people gossiping. We see a bunch of people talking. We see these two guys, the way they are, gossip, right? Sometimes when you are maybe qualified, or maybe when you have a lot of skills or abilities or talents, you will find that people will be a little bit jealous, or people will ask you questions or worry or wonder about your skills and your talents regardless of everything else. So what he needs to bear in mind is that people will talk no matter what, and people will doubt no matter what. He, however, needs to keep his marbles. He doesn't have to lose them. Yeah, you can look at these, they look like marbles to me now. Yeah. He needs to be smart. He needs to be like this guy. Yeah, he's just sitting there watching everything and like, okay, whatever, man. I've been through it. I've survived it. I'll be fine. Yeah. So even as he lets go of all the stuff from the past, he even needs to, bear in mind that, regardless of what happens in the interview, he needs to stay calm. Right here, as he's being friendly again, he has to bear in mind that after his interview is over, they're going to talk about him. They're going to discuss him like, he was a resume or something, which to them, for that point, he is. So in the interview, while he, maybe they act all friendly and stuff, ultimately they're going to dissect his resume and his interview and then decide whether to hire him or not. He needs to know that. And going forward, even as in the future, he needs to bear that in mind, that yes, prosperity, which the Ten of Pentacles normally represents, that even the Emperor in this picture is all about prosperity, because the job will bring him the money, which will then lead him to prosperity. It will come, but he has to be patient. They have a lot to discuss, and once that is over, once that is sorted, he will get the result. So what does he need to sort of push away? What does he need to not look at, or all of this? And here we have the Knight of Pentacles. Look at this knight. What is he doing? What's the story here? He's sitting on his horse. He's holding his pentacle in his hand. And look, there's a village. And he's just being all observant and distant. Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting here looking at this card. That this guy is just being observant, distant, not necessarily involved. So this, maybe while all of this is going on, perhaps you might get a sense that, oh, I need to be a little distant. No, you can't appear. You may emotionally be distant. That's fine. But where it appears, where it matters the most, right, in the interview, you gotta be friendly. What you need to push aside is that whole emotional distance. At least the appearance of it should not come over here. You should appear invested in the process. You should not appear distant or remote. Okay? That is what you need to not appear. Okay? So now this is a very good sort of way you can reinterpret this cross spread. Even the spread itself, you can tweak it a little, and this is how you can use this spread to get more insight and more information in this very interesting but often asked question: what do I need to know? I'm going in for a job interview, and what do I need to know? So there you have it. A very nice 5 card cross spread that can be used both as a predictive spread and as a guidance spread to really look deep into various angles of a question. I'm thinking of doing one more video, maybe next week or so, on doing the same cross spread. But if you have, say, different questions for me, that'd be more fun. I'll send me maybe 2 or 3 questions. I'll do one more video just like this one, and we look into make sure the questions are a little different, different topics. So guidance, predictive, that kind of thing, like a mixed punch, so we can really look at how different questions can be looked at by with the use of this spread. And yeah, click on the like button, thumbs up, click on that button right below this video to tell me that you liked it. Put your questions in the comments. Stalk me on the internet. You want to stalk me on the internet. You want to follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go right ahead. You want to do it. Do it now. Come on, you can totally do this. I keep having these good hair days often nowadays. I just do it. Just subscribe. Just follow me on the internet, and till I see you guys again, stay good, be good, and play with your cards because they like it. Bye.